Hey guys, welcome to Gearheads. So today we're going to be going over how to upgrade your differential. So if you have a 1.6 liter car like a 90 to 93, this is going to be installing an entire new differential and new axles and a new drive shaft. And that's what you need if you're going to be upgrading to a 94 to 2005 style differential. And those are all stronger than the original 1.6 ones were. So that's part of the reason you're doing this. And the other reason is because most of us, if we got a cheaper car, it probably came with an open diff. Mine actually came with the viscous limited slip, but I'm going to be going for a lot more power, and those aren't quite as strong as the Torsen differentials from the newer cars. So anyways, there's that, and then also you can drift way better if you want to drift because the wheels will lock up and it's consistent. Unlike with an open diff, you'll be like sliding and then it'll just like catch randomly out of nowhere, which is annoying. And then also, if you're racing or going fast, which is what I do most of the time when I'm having fun with the car, if you're actually making a good amount of power and you're going around a corner and you go slower in, you go to turn out and get on the power and your wheels will just spin, or one wheel will spin, and you don't get the traction you need. So this will fix that, or at least greatly improve it. Obviously, I don't have that problem right now since I'm running on a really weak stock 1.6. Yep. But yeah, so we're gonna show you how to do that right now and have fun. Jack up the car by the rear differential, and then we're gonna stick jack stands on the sides. And don't forget to chock the front wheels. Pull your wheels off, but if you don't have an air gun like we do, make sure you break the lugs loose before you lift the car up in the air. After you jack up your car, go ahead and first take off your fill bolt on the differential, which is the one up top. Now that I at least cracked mine loose, I'm gonna go ahead and take the bottom one out for the drain. Gear oil, that smells amazing.
How much is in there?
About a quart. All right, and on the Miata differentials, the bottom bolt is a 24 and the top bolt is a number 23 millimeters. So those don't come in a lot of toolkits, so you might have to buy those single from the parts store. All right, now that the car's up in the air and we drain the oil out of it, we're gonna go ahead and take the axles off first. So we're gonna break these loose, and these are all number 14. So put the car in gear if you want, or also put the just pull the e-brake. And if your e-brake works well, then it should be strong enough for you to go ahead and break each of these loose without it causing it to rotate. And then when you're done with that, then we'll get to the outside of the axle. All right, now that we got all the nuts off on this side, we're gonna go ahead and go down to the other side of the axle out next to your brakes, and we're gonna show you how to take that wheel nut out and then get the axle loose on that side. You're gonna need a number 29 socket. So kind of like the fill and the drain bolt on the differential, you're probably gonna end up needing to buy those sockets single by themselves from a parts store or something like that. Or you can order them online. And you are going to need a sledgehammer and a smaller flathead screwdriver or chisel or something like that for this piece here. So let me show you. There's a little divot in right here, and you have to pry that back. And I've found the easiest way to do that is to get a little screwdriver in there with a sledgehammer and then pry it out. So let me try this. There we go. You can see it's prying up. All right, I would say that's out of the way now. You're gonna need to get a really big breaker bar for this part, but we're lucky and I've got an air gun, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. If you don't have an air gun though, get a breaker bar and then get a cheater bar, like a long pipe or something, even to stick over that. And there's a few different ways you can go about that. You could either walk way over and hang on it and pull, or you could even put it down on the side and start jacking up on it with your floor jack to get enough pressure to break it loose. But I've done it before by hand. It's not the worst thing in the world. A sledgehammer maybe on a breaker bar helps also, but I'm just gonna use this. Done. All right, now that that's off, they're gonna pop the axle out like this with a sledgehammer. Looks like it's already loose, actually. Yeah. It got jarred loose when I used the air hammer to pull the nut off, so that made it easy. All right, guys, so the other side's exactly the same, and I was gonna show you before, but this side came off pretty easy too. Usually when you take these off, they're kind of stuck together a bit, so you wanna take a sledgehammer and just hit the tip of the axle, and it'll break it loose. These ones came loose when I took the wheel nut off, actually. I guess that air hammer hit it hard enough to jar it loose, so. Anyways, that's how you do it if you're stuck right there. Just hit at it with a sledgehammer, and as soon as it comes loose and backs up a bit, you'll know you're good. Then when you unbolt it on the other side, you can just pull it straight out. All right, now that we got the axle nut off, we're gonna go ahead and take this top part of the spindle loose, because then when you do that, you can pull this forward, and it makes enough room for you to pull the axle out of both sides, and just take it out nice and easy. So for this, you're gonna need a number 14 wrench and socket or 2 wrenches for this guy right here, and then you're gonna need a number 17 for this one down here to pull that out. So I'm just gonna loosen this one real quick. All right, I took this one loose because after you take this one out, sometimes it holds it in place just because people over tighten these bolts. But I'm gonna go ahead and take this top one off real quick, see how it works out. Done. There we go. All right, in that case, it was this one up here. Somebody over tightened those ones. Looks like somebody did the bushings on this car though, so that's nice. All right, anyway, so what we just did allows you to pull this forward. And now the axle is loose in here, which is good. I'll hit it a couple times more with the hammer. There we go. There we go. Axle out. All right, now that we got this axle out, go ahead and do the exact same process that I just showed you on the other side, and that'll allow you to take it out. And now next, we're gonna go ahead and go for the Powerplant frame here. And this thing connects the differential to the back of the transmission up there. And what you're gonna have to do is take these 2 bolts out on this side, and then go all the way down to the transmission, and you're gonna have to just take those bolts out, and so that it's loose enough for you to move this off of the differential. This part is kind of hard to do, so it might take some fighting with a sledgehammer and a pry bar and stuff like that, but you'll get it. So I'm gonna go to the transmission and take those bolts out, and there's 3 of them up there, and they're all numbered 19. So just go ahead and follow this Powerplant frame up there and take out those bolts that you need to. Or not, I apologize, those are not 19s, they're 17s. All right, now those 3 are out, let's go back up to the diff. All right, now that I've taken these out most of the way, this one's normal, this one's a little bit rusty, which isn't great, but pull them out and then just thread them back in a little bit. And the reason for that is there's retainers on the top side, kind of like this one. You'll see how it is when I take it out. And so if you thread them in just a little ways, you can knock them out by hitting it with your hammer. So do that. That one's out. That one's out. There we go. That's it. It sits up on the top side and it compresses and pulls in when you put those bolts in. So anyways, reach up top and get that other one. There it is, there's the other one. And now we have to deal with this one. And this one's kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. Some cars, it comes off kind of easy, and some cars, it's a real pain in the butt. So we'll find out. I'm gonna need a smaller pry bar, smaller tip on it. This tip's too fat. All right, so I just got this piece pulled out a second ago. And this thing sits up on the bottom of the Powerplant frame in this slot right here. And then that goes, let me show you, you pull this away, here, come up closer, Matt, so you can see. There's a hole right here on the bottom of the diff where it goes, right there. That piece that goes through here is very, very difficult to get out sometimes. Mine was partially rusted in. And so what I had to do is, you'll see there's a little notch here on this side, and there's a little notch on this side. So you're gonna wanna take
a pry bar and maybe a screwdriver, also like a flathead, and a sledgehammer, and then just drive it in there, and you're gonna have to keep going all the way around and keep just slowly working it out if yours is stuck like mine was. I've had to deal with that a few times, and it's a huge pain, but it took like probably 20 minutes or so to get just that piece out. Anyways, now that that piece is out, next we're going to be pulling the drive shaft out and then dropping the diff. But actually, Matt just got a call, and we got to head out of here right now. So I'll come in tomorrow, and we'll continue working on this, and I'll start where we left off.
All right, so it's now Saturday, and we're back. So, where were we?
I had pulled, oh, that's right. I pulled the Powerplant frame off, and I took that retainer out. And now I need to pull out the drive shaft. And then after that, we're ready to drop out the diff.
Yep.
All right, when you go to take your drive shaft out, go ahead and put the car into gear, and then you can break the bolts loose, and then after that, you can just take it out of gear so that you can spin it and get to them easier. I actually don't have to lock the drive shaft by putting the car in gear since I'm using this air gun, which is nice. Only one more. All right, now that we got all the bolts off of the drive shaft, you can just go ahead and drop it down like this and then just pull it out. And then if the car's flat, if you have it on 4-jack stands, you might leak some oil out of the transmission, but the car's leaning forward, so I probably won't have that problem. There we go. Next, we're gonna start dropping out the differential. And there is 2 big bolts. They're number 17s in the middle here, and then there's going to be 2 bolts next to it, and I believe those are 12. Yep, those are number 12. So first thing I'm going to do is take those 2 smaller ones off with the number 12s, and then we're going to stick a jack underneath the diff and take the other 2 bigger ones out. Much better. All right, so since you have the Powerplant frame off, go ahead and just move it to the side and slide it forward a bit, and it'll get out of the way. And then just put the jack up to the diff, right there. All right, stop. Okay, and then now we're gonna go ahead and take these 2 bolts out. They're number 17s. And that is it. The differential is out. So here, let's go ahead and drop it down a little bit. We should be able to work the arm on there off around the, keep going.
Oh, it's stuck on the exhaust on this side.
Go up a little bit. It's not, that's not the weight, it's stuck between the exhaust a little bit, but it's still hung up here on this thing. Ah, man. I might have to take the exhaust out. All right, we're not gonna take the whole exhaust out. I'm just gonna pop it off a couple hangers, and that'll help it lower down a bit. So I didn't have to do this with my other exhaust. It made enough room, it would come right out. There's one. There we go. Yep. There we go. Drop. All right. Easy enough. Pull her out.
There she is.
Go.
Looks like a dolphin's tail.
Ready for the new ones.
Like a shark tail.
A whale tail?
Whale tail, that's it.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
You look like you're riding a motorcycle. All right. Everything else is just reversed of what we did before, putting it back in, so let's go. All right, stop. We gotta move the Powerplant frame out of the way. All right, up. All right, go up and hold it. I just got it on. All right, I'm not gonna use these. I got new bushings that I already put in that diff when it was in the old car, so I'm just gonna reuse the old hardware I had.
So my question is, why are those bushings better than the stock ones?
The stock ones are rubber. They wear out faster. They're not as strong, and these are stiffer. So what happens is, especially when you're adding more power in the car, your drive line wants to move. So you want to upgrade your differential mounts, and you want to upgrade your engine mounts. And when you're making high power, if you go to launch, or even when you're just going fast and shifting gears, you'll notice your shifter knob like moves a bit, and it moves around, and it's no good.
So what are these made out of?
Polyurethane. I feel like a waiter or a waitress, like walking over with someone's food.
Holding tapas.
Here you go. Yeah, tapas. Like a pirate. I got something in my eye. Again. All right. Get the two on the other side. Where's my tapa? Oh, that's right. It's over here. Tapas. So since this was a 1.6 car, this is a different drive shaft. This is a drive shaft from a 1.8 car. There's one hanger. There's a hanger over here. Here we go. Got it? Yep. Now I'm not going very tight with these. I'm going to double check them by hand. I don't know if you can see into here, but I got the Powerplant frame back mostly into place. I got to push it up a little bit more over by the transmission over here. Anyways, just so you know, when you go to slide this thing back in, it might be helpful to put a jack on the back of the transmission just so that you can lift it up a little bit and it straightens out the drive line, because the whole thing, when you take this apart, tips back a little bit and it just makes it hard to push back on together. So Matt, go ahead and push up. Let me pull the jack over a little bit. Go up a couple times. A little more. Oh, there we go. That's all I needed. Now you don't want to tighten these because we have to go over to the differential still. So we just want to get the bolts maybe in and started. All right, now that it's in the transmission up there, just got to go back here, and this is already slid into place mostly. So let's find the spot right there. Okay, let me get the retainers. All right, first you're gonna want to get this big one and get that just slid up into the place there. So then take that little retainer that you had here and go up to the top and set it, just set it into place to get the threads started in the bolt. There we go. And then when you go to actually tighten it down, you just might have to hold your hand up here, or possibly hold up here with a with some pliers or something. And then you just start screwing it in from the bottom, and it should stay. It's not spin and stick in there and go. Now this guy, there we go. Good bolt. Okay, now this is much easier for me because I have the air gun, but just be patient. If you're using hand tools, you just reach your hand around up top like I said, and keep that thing from spinning while you put this in, and it should go just fine. Now after you get these in, make sure you reach your hand up there and look, if you can, at the very top where these retainers go. And it's a little dark, you probably can't see very well, but they're right right over here. So just make sure those have sunk in all the way, because if they are not in and sunk down all the way, that means these bolts are going to be loose when you're driving around. You do not want that. All right, when you get this nut back on, after you get it torqued down nice and tight, it's important, if you can try and get this thing lined back up, but it's not torquing down. It's not torquing down to be tight enough and then still lining up with this. So you're gonna go ahead and take a screwdriver and bash this piece in right there with a sledgehammer. All right, that's supposed to just help it keep from backing itself out. So we'll do the other side, and then I'm gonna put some gear oil in there, put the wheels back on, and go for a drive. There we go. Yes, sir. There we go. All right, and I have the Redline 75W90 because Redline is the best. All right, so the Redline bottle does not fit in there well enough to just tip it up and pour the fluid into the diff. So I have an extra mobile one. These are skinnier and they have a little tip on the end so you can just pour it. Go ahead and fill the diff back up. It's about 1 quart of fluid or so, and you'll know it's full when it starts to come back out right here, seeping down. That's got a small leak to it, but when the differential fills up, it'll start coming back out the fill hole. Yeah, that's a good noise, dude. That's it, she's full, and she's dripping quite a bit. There we go. All right, number 23, take that guy and tighten it up, and you're good. We have oil now in the differential, yay. It was ever a problem before because I didn't have a lot of power, but if I went really high on the power, sometimes it would slip a bit. Let's see here. Nope, no wheel spin. Crossing double yellows in a terrible spot. Like, what a retard.
Well, that was a lot of work. Yeah, that was one of our bigger projects we've done so far on this car, and one of the bigger ones that we filmed. So I hope that helped you guys out a lot. And just as a quick recover over what we did, or recover, it doesn't even work, huh? No. Well, I mean just recover, like if you died. Recover him. Anyways. I'm just gonna go quick over what I did before, or something I said before. If you have a 1.6 car, just make sure you get new axles, a new drive shaft, and obviously the differential and carrier with it. And then if you have a 1.8 car and you have an open diff and you want a Torsen, you just need to go get a new carrier, or sometimes they'll sell it without the carrier arms on it, and then you have to unbolt your old one, bolt the new one in, use silicone, whatever. You can figure that out, it's pretty easy, especially if you can figure out how to do the rest of this job from watching this. So. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. And now we're gonna have some freaking sweet drifting and racing, skidding fun times.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for following us. Don't forget to tell your friends. And remember, like, comment, subscribe, and always keep wrenching.